Welcome everyone to lesson 6.2 here in Algebra 1B. So today, how do you solve one-step inequalities? You will come to find that it's really essentially solving equations, only we have some extra little things to look into. So let's check out number one here. Basically, think of it as v plus 3 equals 1. And do what you would do if you had to get v all by itself. So that's what we have to do. So we're just going to subtract 3 from each side. Subtract 3. That's going to make it v. And keep the sign the same, less than or equal to negative 2. And just like last lesson, we're just going to graph that. So negative 2, what kind of circle would you use? You guys remember that? We're going to use a closed circle, if that's what you were thinking. Great. Closed circle and shade everywhere less than, so smaller numbers, so to the left of negative 2. And that's it. Solved. Moving on. N minus 5 is less than negative 9. Think about how we'd get that n by itself. So adding 5 to each side. Again, nothing really in particular is going to happen otherwise. So less than going to be negative 4. What kind of circle would we use here? It would be an open circle. And once again, everything to the left of negative 4. So smaller numbers. One little trick, that arrow is always going to point. So see it's pointing towards the end. It's always going to point towards where you need to shade. Key thing, open circle. Okay, let's check out some other examples here as well. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Now we have n on the other side. Don't let it scare you. It's really the same idea, but I would encourage you to rewrite it, and then we'll just reformat it at the end. So we're going to add 11 to each side. Negative 29 plus 11 is negative 18, less than or equal to n. And once again, let's switch that around. So we talked about last lesson, switching it so n's on the right. So n is greater than or equal to negative 18. That will help us see where we need to shade. Really, each question's correct, but it's more helpful to have that variable on the left. So a solid circle around negative 18. Let's put that on there. And numbers more, so bigger than negative 18. Well, that's negative 16, negative 15. It can be a little tricky with negatives, but again, that arrow is going to point. Number 4, go ahead and try it out if you haven't already. I'm going to go through it here, but let's see how you do. So it looks like x is less than or equal to negative 18. Okay, so we are going to highlight our negative 18. And check out where that x is pointing. Again, I rewrote it, and that's going to tell you what direction to shade. So everywhere to the left is what we need. Open circle, key point with that one. Now, the only time it gets a little trickier is these next problems when we talk about multiplication or division. So the main thing with these is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you must change the direction of the sign or of the inequality. Change the sign direction only if it's multiplying or dividing by a negative. Okay, so let's check out number 5 here. So 3 times k is greater than 60. Hopefully you remember how to solve this. I'll just rewrite it here. Don't be afraid to show extra work. We're going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. K is going to be greater than 20. Now, plotting that 20 bigger than means numbers like 21, 22, 23, and so forth. Now we divided, but we did not divide by a negative, so you don't have to change the direction of the sign. Same thing's going to happen in 6. Now we should also consider rewriting it, but let's just write it down first. Now let's consider number 6 here. It's just a little bit different because 19 is on the left, the variable's on the other side, and we got a fraction. But hopefully you remember, if you multiply by the reciprocal, 2 over 1, that is going to knock out that fraction. So we have 38 less than v, and rewrite that so v is greater than 38, and that'll give you a better picture as to how to write that and how to graph it. So bigger than 38. Open circle. Open circle. Now, what about this flipping stuff? So in this scenario, negative 18 times a is less than negative 216. Here is where our flip comes into play. When you divide by that negative 18, you just need to change the direction of the inequality. So a is going to be greater than now 216 divided by 18, which is 12. And that's all you got to do. Just be careful. Again, dividing or multiplying by a negative, you're going to change that sign. So we're going to shade, once again, to the right with an open circle. Okay. Last example we'll do together. So we're dividing by negative 18 again. Okay. So try it on out. Negative 18n less than or equal to 342. Divide by negative 18. Flip that sign. Don't forget to flip it. Flip it good. And greater than, a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. And 342 divided by 18 is going to be good old 19 for us. Okay, so plot that greater than a 19. Open circle, and hey, there you go. So another lesson down. Good stuff, guys. Practice that. And again, let me know if you have questions.